Good morning, beautiful people of the center. I am so glad to see you. In whatever condition you are in, I welcome you here. It is such a relief to be together with you after all of this going on. I am Edward Fillion, and it is my task, my privilege to welcome you to the Center for Spiritual Living, but it is not my duty alone. Now wait a minute, if you don't want to greet anyone this morning, you just sit there. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, right? But if you feel the call to greet somebody, it would be a lovely time just to turn around and shake somebody's hand, and if they look like they're open to a hug, that could happen. I invite you to take a deep breath in. And in the midst of so much going on, still wonderful things happen. Like it's Robin's birthday today, right, Robin? Happy birthday, Robin. And like our children come home to visit us. Is that not Silvano back over there? Yeah, hi, welcome home. It's so wonderful to see you all. If you are visiting with us, I would like you to know a little bit more about our community. So we have a gift. It's a brochure with information about who we are and what we do. So if you would stand, then one of our ushers would bring that to you. Any visitors here today? Thank you very much for joining us. We have a lot to process this morning, so I've asked our practitioner on duty to give us an affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment, to center us in the atmosphere of love. As is our custom, we will sing together to lead into a moment of silent contemplation in which the layers of feeling can begin to shed. So I invite you, in whatever condition you are, to feel so welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And whether you sing along or just listen, that's the right way for you to participate. I am so glad that you are here. How could we have imagined when we chose the topic for this month that it would be so appropriate to our needs considering what is going on in Sonoma County in Northern California? Our topic is the spiritual value of love, and how when love is activated in us, it creates an atmosphere of safety. And we've been talking about that this whole month. So gratitude is a form of love, and I thought I'd begin by saying my thank yous, because there are so many people to be grateful for right now. I want to start with you. I want to thank you for being here, especially if you've been evacuated or if you lost your home. I'm so grateful that you showed up here to be with spiritual community. And I want to say thank you to the staff of the center who opened up this place starting at 2 a.m. on Monday morning to receive people who had nowhere to go. And I want to say thank you to the volunteers who showed up and cleaned up and swept up and helped. And I want to say thank you to those of you who are taking people into your home. Many of our own people are now staying with other people in our community. And for that, I am so grateful. And most importantly, I want to say thank you to the firefighters. And along with all of them, the first responders and the law enforcement officers and the California Highway Patrol, many of them are from other cities and from other states. And also the Santa Rosa city officials, all of them for working long hours tirelessly in this, our community's time of extreme need. To them I say, you make me believe in goodness. You remind me that in times of crisis and disaster, ordinary human beings have the capacity to express extraordinary compassion and courage and kindness. To them I say, you give me hope for humanity. So let us begin. Let us begin with a spiritual practice of gratitude for the heroes and for the helpers. I invite you to breathe in with me. As you exhale, let your eyes close if that feels comfortable. And let us, each according to our own way, let go of everything, just for this moment, and enter into the consciousness of gratitude for first responders and helpers everywhere, whether in Northern California or Las Vegas or Puerto Rico or Southern California. Let us abandon all other considerations for just this moment and center our attention on appreciation for those who serve. And let us, through our joint meditation of gratitude, abandon anything and everything that separates us, so that we may feel instead our unity with each other. And let that felt experience of unity keep fresh before us this particular moment of high resolve, that in the months and years to come, we will not abandon our memory of that which has been given to us by so many through their service. And may we stay rooted in mindfulness with open hearts to those who are struggling, wherever they may be emotionally, so that we remain a safe harbor for their experiences. And may this, our contemplation of gratitude, inspire us to be giving, to be kind, and above all, to be able to trust that capacity in humankind to be loving. And I invite you to take this moment of personal quietness, to visualize a Northern California in which all people live according to the spiritual truth of their understanding, where humanity continues to awaken to its magnificence, where we live as one family with kinship for all life, and where unity and connection continue to guide us through to the experience of deep peace. And if any of this resonates with you, I invite you to seal this prayer by saying together, and so it is. The question on many people's minds, both among those people who have lost everything and those who haven't, is something like this: what can I do to help? People want to help each other, to comfort each other. And I think one of the challenges is the awkwardness of not knowing exactly what to say to someone who has lost everything. Pete Lasky, one of our people, who's a member of our AIDS life cycle team who's raised so much money for other people, he lost his home and he had to leave in moments with his son, his young son. He wrote on Facebook, I was just talking with a worker in a local store who did not lose his home in the fire. I was ridiculously happy for him. We even high-fived. I've heard that some people who didn't suffer a loss don't know how to talk to those of us who did. Let me say from my point of view, we are all in this together. We are all affected in some way, and any good news is welcome. I am very grateful for those houses that were spared. I'm grateful for the people who are safe. If your house still stands, it stands as a sign of hope that normal life still exists. So let us celebrate that gift together. Warren Hayes, who is the executive director of the Sonoma County Law Enforcement Chaplaincy Agency, on which board I serve. He and his wife Becky lost their homes too, and he's safely now staying with his wife at a friend's home. And he wrote on Facebook, I stopped by Oliver's this morning for coffee and noticed the woman standing behind me looking so sad. So I asked her, did you lose your home? And she replied, yes. And I expressed my sorrow for her and said, me too. And she began to weep. And she said, I haven't been able to cry until just now. So we hugged and went our separate ways. And then he advises us, so find someone who is hurting and hold them. As I read these posts, they remind me that we are all over the map in how we are responding to and dealing with this, and that there isn't one single right way to feel or to cope, that all of it is valid. Everyone is dealing with this the best way they know how. So now I realize I don't expect anyone to be in the same place that I am. And I don't expect anyone to give me the response I hope they would give me. I'm letting people be exactly where they are. And everyone is affected, even people whose homes are fine, because we are connected to one another. As we say, there is one single continuous consciousness that unites us. And through that union, we feel everything. We feel the stress, we feel the joy, we feel the grief, we feel the loss and the hope and the gratitude and all of this. In some people, it's showing up as tiredness. In some people, it's showing up as numbness. In some people, it's showing up as forgetfulness. When things got serious on Monday morning, we rushed to the center where the staff had already opened it to receive people who had nowhere to go. And I was switching to action mode, and Kevin and I, we grabbed our little dog Cooper and came into the center to help. And at one point I noticed that the little dog Cooper was acting strangely, and I said to myself, he's responding to the tension around him. But then we realized we had forgotten to give him water, and we had forgotten to give him food. And not only that, we had forgotten to eat, and we had forgotten to drink water. And that reminded me, that can happen. I have to pay attention to myself and to the people around me. We sometimes forget the basic things that keep us healthy and well when we are stressed out. So the staff made breakfast on Monday morning, and then lunch the next day, and then the next day, and made beverages available and snacks that encouraged people to rest and take care of themselves. I think at one point we may have had more dogs in the building than people. Yeah. It was beautiful, you know. The dogs were working out their hierarchy, you know. It was just beautiful. Dr. Lucas Plum, who's working with people who have experienced different levels of loss related to the fires, she wrote on Facebook that there are these layers of accumulated trauma worth paying attention to. Because not only is there the devastating loss of personal possessions, but there is also the loss of nature, and there's the loss of community spaces, and there is the loss of significant landmarks. And these can impact us in ways that we may not immediately be aware of. It may take a while for us to understand and integrate what has happened to the soul of our county. Dr. Plum also mentions those feelings of helplessness and insignificance that awoke in us, reminding us of our frailty in the face of such devastating natural forces. And these fires have brought all of that to life, all these feelings, vulnerability, mortality, while at the very same time it has also caused courage and love and connection and community and help to erupt in ways that are truly, staggeringly beautiful. Rodney Johnson, one of our members whose whole family has been here all week to help, his mother wrote on Facebook, amid the tears and heartache, is genuine love and empathy. As hundreds of people volunteer to comfort and assist others, when members of my own family have been spared for now, we talk and weep together about this powerful reminder of what really matters in this life: each other. For some, she writes, it takes a horrendous tragedy to bring them to this realization, whereas for others, they seem to be born with this knowledge that love and service to others is paramount. So, as we witness unimaginable human suffering, let us also celebrate and closely observe the beauty of kindness. Now, I believe with Dr. Plum, and with Rodney's mother, and with Warren Hayes, and with Pete Lasky, and probably with you too, that connection is ultimately what reverses trauma. And that if we can remember that and connect, then this disaster will not have destroyed our spirit. Dr. Plum goes on to say, it's a tall order to rebuild and replant, given the level of loss we face, but that effort will connect us. And in that connection, trauma layers will be released. And then she suggests, please let yourself be held in the coming days and months. And I add to that, and when you need to take a break, take a break. We have a wonderful meditation room here, and the center staff have been trying to keep it open as much as possible, because sometimes even the expression of compassion can become too much. It can be enough. It's strange to say that. But sometimes a healing human just needs quiet. I'm remembering a tour I went on to New Zealand. I was leading a meditation tour, and I caught a terrible sinus infection. Oh, it was terrible. I was miserable. Now I'm traveling with, I think, 40 people, and we're close together all the time, every day. And so every morning, these good-meaning people ask me, how are you? How are you doing any better? Do you have a medication? Can I get you something? And to the point where I realized, and it's hard to say this, it's awkward, to the point where I realized the goodwill was dragging me down. I had to gather the group tenderly and express that I already knew that they cared, and in a way, the ongoing questions was keeping my attention focused on being sick. I needed to be treated with some kind of normalcy. And I didn't have the option to hide. And so that's where I learned communicating needs is very important. Was how are they to guess? And listening to people's communicated needs and not thinking I know better for them. The Meta Center for Nonviolence in Petaluma put out a beautiful guide for coping in crisis situations, whether human-made or made by nature. It's written by Stephanie van Hoek, and she wrote it, and I've adapted it here for our purposes. And the first bit of advice is to center yourself. Now and then it's a good idea, it's helpful to come back to your center, your heart center, which in our teaching is that place of peace within us that remains intact no matter what is going on around us, but which is easily forgotten, understandably, when crisis strikes. There are many different ways to recenter ourselves. For example, just taking a moment to breathe. It sounds simplistic, but don't you know, in moments of anxiety, breathing can become shallow or sometimes erratic. And so taking a moment to consciously draw in a breath has amazing stabilizing, recentering effect. Another way of doing it is to stop at random moments in your day, to stop and to look around you, to take in your environment. like watching a movie. Just observe it for a moment, like stepping back. And then in that space, to say, repeat some meaningful phrase, like in the style of a mantra, to lead your mind back to your heart, to the peace within. You might say something like, everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me through the infinite mind within me. Or you might say something like, there is only one life. That life is divinity. That life is perfect. And that life is my life right now. Or you may say something like, my mind is a center of activity within the mind of the one creation. Or you may say something that is meaningful and powerful to you, that works to lead your mind back to your heart of peace. The second suggestion is that we take the time to check in with our body. Are you taking care of its needs? Are you drinking? Are you eating? Rhonda Lee, who I see here, one of our volunteers who cleans up this place every week for us, right where you're sitting, she wrote, Sonoma County friends, please do self-care at this uneasy time. You cannot help others if you do not stay healthy yourself. Taking care of yourself makes you available when needed and enables a feeling of calm and ease that you can transmit to others. So she suggests take an extra 15 minutes when you wake up and stretch it out, And that reminds me to invite you to a free, gentle, deep, relaxing yoga class right here at the center tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. with our own yoga teacher, William Abel. And he's trained to teach people of any skill level in gentle, restorative yoga. Even if you just lay there on the floor, come, it's open and free to everyone. The next suggestion is one-pointed attention. Yesterday, I had to turn all my notifications off, all the sounds off yesterday. It was all good stuff that I was being informed about. Good-hearted wishes, questions about how we are doing, offers for help from centers all over the nation. Very heartwarming. Emergency updates, Facebook messages, tweets, iMessages, emails. But I couldn't get anything done. I just couldn't focus. There's a lot grabbing for our attention right now. And when we are already in a heightened state, like in an emergency, that much information can contribute to feeling anxious and can make a person feel less safe. The Metta Center suggests that we try to do one thing at a time. And each thing that you do, give it your full attention until you finish doing it. Now that is especially useful when dealing with other people right now. Try that. Try giving other people your one-pointed attention. Because many people around us right now, they just need to be heard. They need to be witnessed. They may be in a state of shock or numbness or loss. Or they may be empathetically feeling the tension and stress of our entire city and not even know that it's happening. It can be a blessing to make oneself available to another, to listen, even if it's just for a moment. Active listening means when we listen to somebody without interrupting them, without informing them, without leading them to a conclusion, without correcting a wrong observation, without mining for further information, just listening in the style of someone who says, start from the beginning, leave no details out, tell me everything and take as long as you like, I'm here. So that's why this morning we've put up clusters of chairs in the social hall and even upstairs in room number 7. So if you want conversation, or if you want to listen, free from fixing and judging and interrupting, just pull up a chair. Maybe someone needs you to be there. Maybe you need someone to be there for you. It's available in the social hall. The next tip is to be sensitive. Oh yeah, that's important. In times of crisis, we need each other. And it can be valuable to remember that we aren't all the same. We can be sensitive to the fact that there isn't one correct way, one size fits all way to experience or express in a crisis. Kevin, he copes in the style of a dog. Edward, he copes in the style of a cat. Kevin's approach is like a dog. Let's all huddle together and have a good cry together, and then let's connect with our feelings and emote them and then share them with each other, and then through that we release everything. His heart says, I need you, and he says it out loud, and I love you, and I need to see that and hear it and feel that you're feeling with me. That's how he heals. Edward, like a cat. Don't stand too close to me, but not too far away. I want you to be there for me, but on my terms. I'll emote when I'm ready, and probably it will be private, and it certainly won't be on Facebook. I need to know where the exit is at all times. I need to know there's a door open, so don't look at me directly. But I need to know that you're here. I need your love. But I also need my autonomy, because that's how I heal. I heal knowing that you are there and that I can come inside anytime I want. So I'm learning to let people be, just as they are and just as they are not. I'm learning to ask before I offer a hug or help or information. I'm learning also to be comfortable with no thank you, not now, as a valid answer, and to respect that. And it's allowing me to have better opportunities to give what is wanted when it is wanted. I'm also loosening up, and if a puppy dog wants to lick my face, I'm not turning that down. But I'm learning to respect people's privacy and the right to be where they are. Which leads to the next piece of advice. Respect limits. Your limits as well as other people's limits. Because everyone can do something in this situation, but no one can do everything. So, we are to take care of ourselves so that we can do something. We've got to respect our limits. Try not to push yourself, and neither to push yourself onto other people. Oh, the question, how may I help, is a great question to ask. And do you know that people may not know the answer yet? They may need more time. If the way for you to help isn't clear at the moment, it could be that it will become clearer later. So maybe it's a good thing that you don't exhaust yourself just now, because this isn't over. In fact, it is often the times after the crisis when public attention moves on to something else that the real opportunities for help come to light. And that is when we are going to need each other. So this is the message. There is a powerful good in the universe, and you can use it. There is a powerful good in the universe, and it can use you. There is a powerful good in the universe, and it is love. This powerful good in this universe expresses as you. So I invite you to breathe in with me and to exhale into a moment of prayer. In the infinity of life where I am, all is whole, for the full entire spirit of the living one is present here. I call it forth in its form of love into my consciousness, so that I may identify with it as my true nature. And this that I know about myself, I know for all people here and all beings. And so the love that I'm calling forth everywhere so that it may saturate my consciousness and become the filter through which I look, so that I interpret my world around me through the lens of connection, love, compassion, empathy, and every good thing and more that the living Spirit provides through me. So as I take my place in this community of beings, I do so with an open heart to be a welcoming and safe harbor for everyone who comes into my thought atmosphere and into my proximity. With deepest gratitude for the realization of this love, I release this word of affirmative prayer into the action of spiritual law, which has the effect of making real in us what we have prayed. And together we say, and so it is.